So here we are, my second ever race. We're on a different race this time. Last one I did was a cat and mouse where the D's went before the C's and the B's and the A's and we all got caught. We're all riding together on this one. See what I learned from last time. If you want to watch the previous race, then I learned a lot. My legs are a bit dead actually because I've been riding quite a lot, but yeah, I still thought I'd power out. I was near the front again because I was on the first to join. I was warming up for 15-20 minutes. The difference is this time I've got A's, B's and still got a glass of wine. But we've got A's, B's and C's that are going to bomb off, and you can see the colour of who you're against on the right hand side. I'll put a little caption up. So I've whacked out at 250 watts, thinking, well, I can't stay with the A's and the B's and the C's. I'm only fighting the yellow fellas on the right hand side, so I thought, let's get a good start, find a group and sit in. And I did do quite a few sprinty warm-ups, and I was on 50 minutes before, just pedaling in the pen. We've not even started yet, look, and I'm kicking out some watts here just to try and be not near the front. I don't want to get anywhere near the front. They're not my game. And it is a game, isn't it? Zwift's a game. The people who I'm after are the yellows, but I'm just hoping they all settle in a group near me, because that's what we do. You know, we're all at the 2 watts per kilogram type of guys, you know. I must admit, I feel like I'm at the not high end of that now, but I do feel like I'm higher than I was, you know, when I first raced, I first rode. I was 1.5 watts per kilogram. I'm about 2.1, 2.2 now, and on the up curve. So I do feel I can push out quite a few watts and keep the group. So all I'm trying to do right now is find a space. We've let a lot of people go. They're not my enemy, you know. But I was watching on the app, and you can see all the different colour blobs, which is quite nice, on the companion app. So I can see a lot of the yellows have gone with that front group, but I'm just like, well, I'm just not physically capable of staying with that. So I see this group here. And we're hardly in, are we? I mean, it's a 33 kilometre race, and I've just seen a group and thought, oh, a group is formed. There's a big group outside. I can see there's a few yellows, and on the right there's greens and blues, and I'm thinking, right, well, yellows are the worst, and there's more blues. There's a few yellows behind me, and I'm thinking, well, let's just try and find a space. And I think I found one, and then I'm thinking, well, I'm not kicking out millions of watts here, but that changes. You'll find that I make some decisions. To be honest, it's only my second race, but because I did a lot of group rides where I to and fro a little bit, and maybe I'll do a sprint, and then everyone overtakes me and I've got to catch them up again, I do appreciate the importance of being in the draft and not over exerting yourself. Don't get off the front, find a group you can live with. I must admit, this is the hardest race, or the hardest ride I've done so far. I joined Zwift on the 22nd of December, but I've done about 33 hours or something, and got better and better. I used to ride years ago, but yeah, nothing like what I've been doing now. And I thought, I found a little space, let's just sit in that space. But I don't really want to be kicking out 220 watts, which for me is, 250 watts per kilogram. So I'm constantly here making decisions. You can see my top's already open. I'm not looking cool. I'm in the bottom left-hand corner. Got the volume on this time so you can hear my pain. And again here, I'm even thinking, do I close this? Don't I? Do I drop back in? But I can see a lot of yellow blobs ahead of me, and it's the first race what I've done where you can see we all left the pen together. So, you know, there's a lot of people better than me in this group at the minute. but there's a lot of yellows around me that are trying to hang on. They're doing the same as what I'm trying to do, aren't they? They're thinking, well, is this the group? And you can see behind us there's already 5 meters, 2 meters, then 6 meters. So there's a few people dropping off the back, and they're all blues, look. And I'm thinking, well, what the hell am I doing here? But I'm feeling all right. To be honest, we're 4.5 minutes in, and obviously my legs haven't gone, but I didn't warm up enough because I'm panting away there. My heart rate's 132, which you might think is quite low, but my resting heart rate's 55 or something. So it never really goes above 140. I can get to 160 if I'm pushing it. My heart rate can't go to 200. I think I'd die. I do hit 160, 170 sometimes, but that's when I'm sprinting. So generally 130 is big for me. If I'm on a group ride right now at 1.8 watts per kilogram group ride, my heart rate's about 112, 115. So I'm massively overdoing it here. But I think the start of the race is really important, isn't it? And we're on a loop here. There's not much hills, but 100 meters of hills just over. But again, I'm not really looking behind me right now. And you can see there's a gap turned up, but I'm trying to stay with a lot of blues and greens ahead of me. There's not many yellows. But on your companion app, which is quite nice, and next time I do one of these, I might put the companion app up there so you can see. You can see all the different colour blobs, can't you? So the good thing is you can see it a little bit in the top of the map, but when it's right in front of your face, it's a little bit more. Oh, I've got a few people ahead of me, a few people behind me. But at this point, we're coming to the first sprint, and this is a points race, so you get points per sprint. Oh, I assumed you did. I'm not sure it's not just the people at the front get them, but I was thinking it was per category. So I don't sprint here. You'll find that tactically this race is the best race I've ever ridden out of the two. But I do put a bit of oomph in here just to make sure I hang around ahead of the yellows in front of behind me and don't let them overtake, just in case it is. I know there's a few guys escaped up the road, but I'm thinking, well, at least if I finish ahead of these lot, I might get a few points. And that might be true. I haven't really checked out their website. I've checked out the after the race. I checked Zwift Power, which is, if you're going to race, you've got to subscribe to that so you can see where you finished. But yeah, I did a bit of a sprint. So wasn't a big sprint, was it? I just went with about 300 watts. Didn't go to 600 and kill myself. There's a long way to go here, so I just made sure that the yellows behind me didn't get in front of me. And now you can see there's not many yellows even on the board on the right hand side. It's all people who are better than me. So I'm just thinking, well, if I hang on to people better than me, in my last race, if you want to go look at that, you'll find that I let a couple of the yellow people, when the groups overtook us, they knew what was coming, so they jumped on top of that train, bit of effort, and you get so many clicks ahead, don't you, by doing that, and then you can have a bit of a rest. So I'm working my socks off here, to be honest. You can see towel already. What was 7 minutes in? So this is way ahead of my comfort zone, but I'm just scared of losing the draft really and dropping off something. And I'm constantly looking at the colours, which is the first race I've had where we all left the pen together so you can see all the different colours. And yeah, that first sprint, I thought when it came second, it came when I was second. I wasn't second on the sprint, but I don't think anybody sprinted, but I put a bit of effort in thinking, oh, I'm second in the yellows. I think I was wrong in that because there's a few yellows ahead of me. I think that was just how you did on the sprint. And it wasn't a sprint. I didn't go mad. I knew there's a long way to go. We're on the first lap of 6 or 7 laps. But I'm happy now. I'm in a little group. I'm trying to get under 200 watts. I'm trying to get my heart rate down from that 134 beats, which it is at the moment. Thinking when I've watched and I'm a beginner, so when I've watched other Zwift races, generally it tanks off and then calms down. So I'm thinking, oh, it'll calm down. Unfortunately, I'm not in a group of yellows. There's yellows ahead of me, there's yellows behind me, but I'm in a group. If you look round, look at all the colours on the right. I'm with a lot of people who are better than me, so I'm just hoping they're just pedaling along, jockeying for position, where I'm actually busting a gut here to stay with them. But I'm enjoying staying with them. I can cope. Where it is now, 181, 190, I can just about cope with living with that for quite a while. 2 weeks ago, I would be nowhere near that. But I'm comfortable. Let's just say that. And I'm thinking it's all going to calm down. How wrong I would be, by the way. But I'm also thinking if I'm in this group and the yellows behind me, of which there's only one behind me at the moment within vicinity, they must be struggling too. So if they're struggling and I put a bit of effort in here, I'm getting a drag along, I'll get further away from them, and then we'll be doing all right. So a lot of effort I'm putting in, not so much now, because you can see it's calmed down a little bit, but as the race progresses, you'll see that it just doesn't. It just ramps up, if anything. And I've got a decision to make. Do I hang on to this? And at the moment I am, but again, probably out my comfort zone here. You see me panting away in the background, feeling sorry for myself. Dropping off the group, thinking I'm going to get dropped here right now. So you'll see me put a massive effort in, up to 300 watts, just thinking I can't lose this group because every yellow behind me isn't in this group, and the longer I stay with them, the bigger gap I'll get. And if they are true yellows like me, true Group D riders, then they must be struggling as well. But I am thinking, I'm 10 minutes in, I'm not even, if you look at the bar at the top, I'm not even a quarter of the race through, and I'm suffering. But I did ride yesterday. I would have liked to have done this after a rest day, but I didn't. But I'm hanging on, and then I will, every now and then I'll put a bit of effort in to get a bit further up. I'm thinking, should I be in that front group? And I'm thinking, who the hell do you think you are? You know, just hang on. That's all you should have to do. It's me in the blue, by the way. You probably guessed that by now because I'm in the centre. But yeah, it's going. I'm suffering though. I think this comes down to a lot of warming up, because later on in the race I'm not suffering so much, and you're like, well, that's probably because this is a bit of a shock to the system, isn't it? You're like, it's effort, whereas if you put a bit of effort in your warm up, your legs will be warmed up, your heart will be warmed up, and you're ready to go. Because as it goes on, and I'm sure you've done this in group rides if you've not raced before, you end up sort of getting in a bit of a zone, and you think, I can cope with this, but this zone, I mean, I did look on Zwift Power. This is the most I've pushed out for this length of time. It's not the most I pushed out for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, because one of the weird things, this is a sprint point race where you can gain points all the time, or I thought you did for your group. You might well do. But I didn't really sprint. Because I was just thinking, well, as long as I'm ahead of the people I'm competing against, as long as I stay ahead of them, then that's good. There's some people gone down the road though, and I know there's about 7 or 8 category D riders down the road, and there's nothing I can do about them. I mean, you look down that road beyond this group, it's empty, isn't it? You know, we can't see anybody. So if they've done that, fair play to them, but I'm hoping they've burnt a few candles on the way, and they have a bit less left. I must admit, at this point I'm thinking, well, I've burnt enough candles as it is, so if they're ahead doing that, fair play to them. But I am conscious, if I leave this group, I'm dead, aren't I? Because I'll just get swallowed up by everybody else. So all my effort isn't on the sprints here, which is weird. So I'm coming up to another sprint, and you'll see my efforts aren't really on the sprint. My effort are holding this group. But what I do, because there's a yellow a couple behind me, I'm thinking about these points, whether it's a point race or not. I mean, it said it was. I thought it would have been categorised point race. So you'll see I've gone from 200, and I will put in a bit of effort here just to keep ahead of that yellow behind me in case there's points up for grabs. So I'm up 273, and everyone's having a bit of a sprint up front. So I'm thinking, if I don't put something in, I'll lose them. So I'm not going up to 600 watts and killing myself and race can't finish, because I've got a long way to go. I've got 23 kilometers to go. So then all my effort is all about getting the draft again. And I learned that from the last race, where occasionally I'd towel myself down and I'd look up and I'd be 5 meters off the back and I'm thinking, what am I doing? So I'm very conscious of not losing the draft. Looks like I was second there. Don't think I was. Well, I probably was, but I don't know. I was expecting to get loads of points. Oh, I've done 100 kilometres this week. Well done, me. So yeah, I was surprised, and I'm guessing everyone's done these point races before where they don't sprint for the first few laps and they give the points away. Or the people around me just think, well, what's the point, because the people at the front are getting all the points. So I thought it was categorised. It might well be, I don't know, but I'm just hanging on the group now, and I'm quite happy because all of a sudden, after the sprint, everybody cools off a bit. But because again, I'm with the wrong riders, I'm in the group above me, they're probably just coursing along thinking this is our pace. I'm like off the back, not wanting to get dropped, thinking as long as I stay in this group, I'll get so many kilometres bonus, if you like, and the people behind me shouldn't be going as fast because there'll be a lot of yellows in amongst them. And again, on the companion app, you could see a big trail of yellow behind me beyond the people you can see on this screen. And where do I think I'm at the moment? Because I'm not racing these people. I'm thinking, well, where am I in the race? Am I second? Am I third? And it wasn't until we start doing because they're so far ahead of the other group, we start doing the flip back where you can see them on the companion app, you can see them coming the other way. I realised, there's quite a few yellows in front of me, probably about 7 or 8. Whereas at this point, I'm thinking I'm second because I only saw one yellow blob, but that yellow blob probably contained about 6 or 7 people. But anyway, I don't know that at this point. We can see a little group ahead of us. We see them catching them. We're in a big blob. I'm coughing my guts up. Yeah, it's going all right now. 42 clicks an hour. I won't be doing that on my own. So all my effort wasn't really in the sprints. It was more making sure after sprints I caught them up when they calmed down a bit. And yeah, I'm burping. Maybe turn the sound off for me. Bloody hell, am I making all them noises? Is that really me doing that? So you can see my heart rate's 137, cadence about 78, which is my natural cadence. I'm round about that. We're going downhill actually, so I'm normally about 76. I'm a bit heavier. What am I? 90 kilos. So I benefit from the downhills. So I'm doing all right. However, look, we're not even halfway. We're a third of the way, just about, and I'm panting away like a good near. So this is the hardest ride I've done on Zwift by a mile. I do think if this was a group race, I'd have just dropped off the back and wouldn't have cared because I'm above my station. If it was one of those robo pace rides where it was 2.5 Ks, I'd have dropped off the back and just thought, well, so what? But it's a race, isn't it? And the race all of a sudden gives you adrenaline. And also, I was very conscious of everybody ahead of me isn't yellow. And there's quite a lot of yellows behind me. And if I drop off this group and end up in that yellow group, I'll be spent. So all my effort, and it's weird because it was a bit of a sprint point race, but all my effort is not losing the group and not losing the draft. So look at me, I'm kicking out 300 watts nigh on just to get back in that draft. And they're conscious decisions that you make, and you're getting tired. We're 18 minutes in. And in my last race, which you might go back and watch, I didn't make those conscious decisions. What I did was allow that elastic band to get too big, put a big effort in, get back, and then just get dropped and get back. And I did very well on my first ever race, but not as good as this one. And there's something that happens in this race, which you'll see in a minute. I'm hoping I'm making you stay. Oh, by the way, like and subscribe. I'll be doing quite a few of these. I'm on YouTube. It's going to be books and bikes. So bikes, Zwift is my life now, but I also write novels. So please check them out, or please subscribe and like and all that crap. So again, I'm suffering. I've been over 200 watts for quite a long time, and I have sustained that before on a group ride, you know, and I've amazed myself, because when I started on December the 22nd, I was, if I could push out 1.5 150 watts for 5 minutes, then I'd be doing well. So I'm suffering here. Yeah, 142 heart rate is massive for me. That might not seem it to you, but my starting point's very low, so I've lost that group ahead a little bit. But I'm just thinking, I can remember looking at the board here on the right hand side thinking there's no yellow people there. There's one about 4 behind me, and he's 4 seconds behind me. So I've just got to hang on to this group, and I'm assuming they're positioning themselves for the sprint. So I'm just thinking, well, I am thinking right now, I must admit, I'm thinking I've lost that group ahead. Do I put a big effort in and get there? There's a few behind me, or do I just join this secondary group? And I think I chose to put the pedal down, and I don't think I chose that. I think they slowed down a little bit, so I managed to grab onto them without overdoing it. They came back to me, not the other way around there, because I think I was quite willing to, knowing over half the race is left, then let's just let them lot go. But then the sprint came along again. I'm looking at the board on the right, there's no yellows near me, but I thought I better put a bit of effort in to make sure no one overtakes me. You got to remember, at this point I'm thinking I'm second or third. I don't think there's many yellows ahead of me. I've not really been checking my app, and if they are, well done to them. They've gone off with the A's and B's, and they should win, shouldn't they? So I do put in a bit of effort, not a lot, and then it's regroup time again. So I'm hoping everyone just slows down a bit here, and they put a bit of effort in, and we all just back off to about 160, 170, but no, it doesn't happen. It's relentless. It just keeps going and going. I can remember looking at that blue line at the top thinking, we're not even halfway, and I'm in bits. So anyone who thinks, I know a lot of people think people cheat on Zwift and they change their weight and do this and the other. I'm not one of those people. So yeah, I'm racing with C's and B's because that's my aim, where I want to get to, but again, I'm in trouble here. So whenever I see that close the gap, you'll see me just pounding on a bit of power, thinking, do I want to close it, or am I happy going in the group behind? And I think I'm resigned here to losing them. I do put in a bit of effort. Again, I'm just maintaining about 200 watts, thinking if they all slow down, they'll come back to me like they did a minute ago. But if they don't, and look, I've lost the toe now, and I'm thinking, well, I'm looking at that 6 meters behind me. I'm thinking, well, look, that's quite a lot. Should I slow down and join that next group? But then something happens. A couple of the guys ahead sort of come back to me without me accelerating. So then I'm thinking, oh no, I can stay with this group. And it's probably a really good decision I made, because the longer you're in a fast group and the people behind you are not, especially when there's no yellows behind me, you know, they're above my station, the people behind me, there's an A behind me right now. I'll talk more about him, I think it's him, in a bit. And again, I've overtook a few, but I'm struggling. I really don't want to go to 300 watts and catch them up, because if I do, again, people talking cycling about burning candles, well, that'll be another one gone, won't it? But I do put an effort in, thinking, well, can I? And I'm right on the limit here. My heart rate, again, might not seem high to you, but for me that's high. And I've sort of caught them up. I put a bit of effort in. I think I grab a towel here and end up at the front, and I'm thinking, what on earth are you doing? Or if it's not here, I'll do it in a bit. Like, serious. I'm thinking, what am I doing at the front? So they've all slowed down, done me a favour, and I've powered through. But at least I've powered through. What I haven't done, and what I used to do, is stop pedalling there, and then you're at the back again. So I tried maintaining some type of power and hang on to this group that I've no right to be in. But they're towing me along, aren't they? So if you can hang on to something that you shouldn't be anywhere near, we're doing 43 clicks, 44 clicks an hour. I'm just hoping all the yellers behind me are in a group that can't do that, because they're with other yellers pushing them forward, other D riders. So at this moment, I'm thinking I'm halfway through. I think I'm doing all right, but then I can remember seeing the companion app and seeing quite a few yellow riders coming back the other way. When you do the flip back, you can see them. You can't do it on the map at the top, but on the companion app, you can see when you do a hairpin, you can see what on earth. So I saw loads of people ahead of me and think, well, they've done well, haven't they? Because if you look ahead of the road there, we've got nobody. So we're just maintaining, and I'm maintaining as much as I can. There comes a point where I'm a D rider in amongst B's and C's, and I can't live with it. And then you've got to make that choice. But I can remember looking at my map again, and you can see people behind you on the map, on the companion app, thinking, I've got a massive gap here. Do I really just want to coast and let that happen? So again, I'm putting in effort, thinking, well, can I close it? Can I close it? All my effort's not on the sprint. All my effort's keeping up with the people in front of me, to try and keep this tour and keep going. Look, I'm doing 40 now because I've lost the tour. They were doing 45 in the group, weren't they? But I just couldn't stay with it. I've just not got the ability. And at this point, I give in. To a point, I think, well, I'm just not catching them. Look, I'm pushing out 300 watts and I can't catch them lot. So what do? So I think you'll find, if I remember rightly, because I'm doing this just after the race, I think they're gone, right? And then can you see behind me? There's an air rider. I'm thinking, what the hell is that red air there? I'm thinking, what's he doing there? So I've given up now. But I'm thinking, I still want to. We're halfway through. I know I'm near the front of the yellows. What do? And I see this guy catching me. He's 8 seconds behind. And he's an air rider who's obviously very talented. But I had this thing in my head thinking, he's not out to win here. Otherwise, he wouldn't be anywhere near me. He's out for a little training ride. And he's not pushing. I'm encouraging myself there, look. So I'm dead. I'm gone. But luckily, the guy behind me is an air rider. So I'm thinking, when he comes past me, I'm going to up my wattage, because he's not doing a great deal. He's doing 2 watts. What's he doing? 2.3? 2.4. So when he catches me, you'll see me accelerate when he gets to about 3 seconds behind me. I'm thinking, well, maybe I booked an Uber. He can be my Uber. And I'll jump on his wheel, because he's not doing massively above what I can do, but I'm not on a wheel at the minute. So again, I've just gone through a sprint without even knowing it. The sprint's coming up, sorry. And I'm a bit dazed and confused, a bit Led Zeppelin. I've gone all a bit Led Zepp. But instead of slowing down for him, which I might have done, because I don't know if I can hang on to him, but I did look at his watts, thinking, well, he's only doing, he's doing 3.7 now, which is way out of my zone. So he's obviously out for a training ride or something. So I'm thinking, right, hang on to his coattails and see what happens. So as he comes past, because I'm dead now, I'm on my own. I've lost that group ahead. I've bonked, if you like, but I'm still thinking, well, I didn't do much. All I've done is really lose the ability of catching riders who are better than me. I hung on to them as long as I could. And this guy's catching me by the boatload, this air rider. And this is the best tactical decision I've ever made. I've only raced 2 races. But I thought I'd give him a bit of company. So here he is. He's my best friend, actually. I might contact him. So I'm thinking, right, put some watts in, Trev, get on his wheel, because he's better than me. And what's he doing back here? He's probably just on a bimble. He's not trying to win this, is he? So rather than let him go by, even though he's miles better than me, I jumped on his wheel. Took a lot of effort to get on it. Didn't mean to go past him there. Oh, sorry, it was a sprint. So I thought, in fact, I'll tell you what I thought. I thought, there's an air ride ahead of me. I'm going to beat him on a sprint because that'll look good on a video. So I beat an air rider on a sprint. So, bosh. That's something off my bucket list. And then I thought, when he comes past me again, I'm going to try and hang on to him. So here he is in his multicoloured top, and I must thank him personally. I'll probably send him a message. And he might have known this, because I jumped on the back of him and just took a ride, really. It takes me a lot to get back on the back of him. But I'd nothing, and I was going to die. So I really thought he was my ticket out of here. And I don't know if you've just seen, but I'm just going past another yellow here. So some of them yellows that were at the front doing their thing and hanging on, they're slowly dripping back to me. There's another one a couple ahead, you see. What is he, 23 seconds ahead at the moment? Felsil, or whatever his name is, from Italy. So I'm thinking, right, well, they might all start coming back to me. I'm well ahead of the other yellows. So let's just sit on this guy's wheel and see what he's got. And then we get this other guy turned up, and he thinks, well, I'm going to have a bit of that. And then between the three of us, you'll probably see for the next 15 minutes, we just end up working as a group. I say working as a group. I'm very conscious about not going ahead, but every now and then I accidentally put some power down to keep up and end up in the front. But yeah, so what's he pushing out? He's pushing out 2.4 watts. And I'm thinking, let's just keep on his coattails. And again, in the app, I can now see that the gap between me and the next yellows, it's about a minute. So I'm thinking, yes, I've got a third of the race left. But if I can just hang on to him rather than worry about sprints, worrying about points, just keep on this guy who is an air rider but isn't pushing like an air rider because he's not in the mood. He's probably doing it for a training ride. We can just benefit from him. And then so let's give him a big shout out. Zampolari from Italy and Mertigoit from England, it looks like. These two guys did me a big favour, because they could have probably just bombed off me and left me dying. But every time they did, so every time they upped their wattage to like 250 or something, I tried matching them. You can see there's a couple of yellow riders behind me, but they're a minute behind me now, and one's 7 minutes behind. So I'm not looking behind now. I'm thinking, as long as all my effort doesn't go into sprints, all my effort goes into keeping with this guy here, who's probably just out for an afternoon bimble. But I'm busting a gut to keep with him. And then when you get on his wheel, and when I get on this other guy's wheel, you see we do ride the next lap or two. We're not riding it together because they're bombing on, but we are. I mean, I go ahead occasionally just to say, sort of trying to say, look, I am putting in a bit of effort. Give me a break. And they're probably looking at my little yellow D thinking, what the hell is he doing here? But I don't think they're putting full on effort. But I am, to stay with them, because what's my option? My other option is I let them go and I drop off. And if I drop off them too, I'm dead meat. I'm just going to be in the wind, giving it what I can. So again, I can handle 180 watts, but I'm having to go 240, 270 just to keep up. But then on the sprints, I wasn't doing anything. I was just maintain. Don't lose that gap. And every time the gap happened, you'll hear me grunt, where I'm putting a bit in just to make sure I don't lose them. I'm giving myself a come on. What's going on there? Very American. there's a little sneaky yellow couple ahead of me, and I'm thinking, I'm not thinking I'll win this, but I was looking at the map thinking I can't see many more. And when we do flip backs, there was about 5 yellows ahead of me. I'm thinking, well, doesn't seem to be that now. So I can see the 5k point. I'm thinking, well, let's try and catch this yellow up, thinking if I catch him, then I'm there. And what's he, 11 seconds ahead of me? So I'm just making sure, again, 200k all ride, isn't it? And then every now and then it's a 250, 300 just to catch them back up again. But I'm nearly gone now. And I can see, I think that's me saying ride on to them. I think I did them, and I dropped them a ride on as well. Just dead now. Again, this is another sprint. I'm thinking, well, this is a different sprint. So we've moved out of where we were, and he's bombed off. He's decided I'm going to do this sprint. I'm sick of mucking around. So he's gone. I can't match that. So I'm just hoping the guy behind me will help me to the end. I was actually thinking, have they got the end wrong here when he... I mean, he's just shown how good a rider he is. He's just put 10 seconds on us in 10 seconds, hasn't he? So thank you very much for him. And then we have a little battle on the way. We keep each other honest. I go ahead a little bit. I'm mainly going ahead here. Again, my brain's working okay. I've got a yellow ahead of me. He's 4 seconds ahead of me, thinking if I keep it at 200 watts, every now and then he'll come past me. He's better than me, so he'll come past me and I'll sit on his wheel, and then I'll go 200 watts again. I'm trying to make sure that we don't sit in at about 160, which I'm at the moment, but I'm hoping we don't do that, because I want to catch this guy ahead of me, thinking I'm going to win the race or win my mini race. So I do start pushing again, look, you see. So, and again, if this wasn't a race and I couldn't see there was a D rider ahead of me, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd just be sat on his wheel thinking, thank God this is nearly over, we're nearly dead. But no, he comes past, get on his wheel again, and we're catching the guy up, you know. So 7 seconds. So hopefully when we catch him, I'll be in first place. Or that's what I think. I don't know. It's not giving me any live updates. I'm not on like team radio saying, right, keep with him because you're catching this guy up. But then he's bombed off a bit. He's at 9 seconds now, and we were tanking there. I've put a bit of effort in here because I'm a heavier guy and we're going downhill, and this is the only bit of downhill in the course, because we're coming back downtown. I thought I'll throw some watts and get some speed up. It's a bit easier downhill, isn't it? So I'm trying to catch that guy up, but I'm not. I mean, he's 9 seconds away now. I was hoping the other guy came past me here and we could do it together, and he sort of does, but we're down to, my effort there has got me down to 170. I put it in again because that incline comes in, thinking heavier bloke goes down the hill quicker. So I do actually try and catch him up, but he's 10 seconds now. So I think he's in a little group now, and yeah, I haven't got much chance of catching him. I must admit, I didn't realise what was coming up at the end. There's 100 metres of climbing, and I was a bit worried that we're in the last 3Ks and we've only done 62. There's over 100. I'm thinking, oh no, it's going to be a hilly finish. What little did I know, because I've done the Richmond Flats before, but I've not done this bit where we come into the town area. So again, I'm pushing. I've not got much left. But I'm trying to do that whirring motion where you're pulling and pushing just to try and get it at 200 odd watts. When you're dead, you're gone. Put a big effort in here because I thought he's 9 seconds away. If we really work together, and I can't see him, but I know he's 9 seconds. I thought if I can get that down to 5 seconds, you know, there's a chance, isn't there? But so that's why I bomb off the front here a bit. I start putting some watts in, thinking let's get that down to 5 seconds, but instead it goes to 10. And my A rider, who helped me so much, I think what happened is this guy jumps on his coattails like I did, and he drags him along a little bit, because they seem to formed a little group. And my 264, 258, I mean, I haven't got much of a sprint, so I'm thinking all I can do is put some power down for 3 kilometres. And that's what I tried doing. And I was hoping that 9 seconds would come down to 7, 5, 3, and I grab him on the line. But then we start going uphill, don't we? And hills are my nemesis. So, yeah, I'm not catching him, am I? I mean, 9 seconds, big effort. 10 seconds, big effort. 11 seconds, I'm thinking I'm just not catching him. So, yeah, I do everything I can. But I've got one yellow at least ahead of me. And I'm spent. I'm spent, and then you won't believe what happens at the end, because it's sort of epic. So I've put all that effort in. I think I've rode the race really well, especially jumping on the back of someone who's better than me and hanging on. So if you look behind me, I've got B's and C riders who are 1 minute behind me, and there's not even a D rider in sight. So there's only me and this other guy who've won by over 2 minutes from anybody else. Tactically, I did very well, and he's just very good, I would imagine. I did look at his Zwift profile, his Zwift power, and he's won loads of races, tons of races. So he's right at the top of the end of the D range, and he just whacks out some power. And, well, fair play to him. He's gone off with them A riders at the beginning and hung on, hasn't he? The last little chance of me catching him up here, because we're at 13 seconds, he's gone. But I'm just thinking I'll coast in behind this guy. I've got a minute 44, a minute 18 behind me. Pat myself on the back, and then all of a sudden we come around this hairpin. We've got 1.3 kilometres left, and I'm now thinking, well, can I beat this this blue rider here, who's a C rider? Can I nobble him at least? C rider, I think it is. And then we hit the hill of hills, which I've never ridden up before. I've never gone up this bit, so I wasn't expecting it. So we get a ramp of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm thinking, okay, let's just power that on, see if I can beat this guy who's been helping me. I'm also thinking if there's a hill, I might catch this other guy, but he's 13 seconds ahead now, so he's doing better with us. And you can see he's sort of hung on to other people, and he's done really well. And then I'm thinking, right, coasting 0.9 kilometres. I'm thinking I might have beat this guy behind me, but obviously he creeps up on me again. And then and then we hit this gradient. I'm thinking, what on earth? Where the hell has this come from? So again, I'm pushing up through to what's here, thinking we're near the end. Let's, 0.7 left. And I see a King of the Mountains thing. I'm thinking, what on earth is a King of the Mountains thing doing here? We were on the finishing line. I suppose you should look at your courses before you do them. So we're at 6 now, and it's the wrong colour, isn't it? So it's going the wrong way. Neck and neck. Well, I'm still, and I give him a thumbs up. I think he gave me a thumbs up earlier on, and I think he's gone here. But then no, I start putting it in. So I'm thinking I'm right near the end, but 0.5 kilometres. But I wasn't expecting a hill finish. If anything, I've caught that guy back up. Look, he's 8 seconds away now, the other D guy. But he's 8 seconds because we're on a hill, because he's going so slow, I'm going so slow. I've even let my, I never do that, never show my body off. I've let my jacket fully open because I'm spent. And I'm still, my only game now is to beat this guy who's my best mate. Best mate now, busy mates. And I'm thinking, right, must be around this corner. Oh, it's levelled off. Here's the end. 0.3 of a kilometre left to go. Round this corner, we're done. But you can see on the map we're not. You see the King of the Mountains, little arch there. So they just thought we'd give us a kicker on cobbles as well. So, what, 11, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11, 13. My God. And I don't like hills at the best of times. But to be honest, after you've done a ride like that, it's a bit like a warm-up. Just knocked it down and spun it up there. So I'm spinning my legs as fast as I can. I'm dead. Never worked so hard in my life. It's gone down a bit. The guy's still right behind me. There's no seconds between us, so don't really know if I'm going to beat him for the sake of a place of a guy I'm not riding against. I mean, if it was real life, we'd probably just hold hands and go across the line together, but it's not, is it? So still 146 my heart rate. It's the highest it's been probably. I'm giving it some here. And the finish line doesn't seem to be getting any closer, but 2 hairpins away. You can see it. There he goes. I think I put a bit of effort in here to not let him get past. It's that old, you're not beating me type of thing. So, yeah. So I'm assuming that was his effort. And I've gone past him actually, but I'm still thinking he's going to come past me again. So there we go, out the saddle for a sec. Put in a bit of a burst. Boom. Alright, and all of that put me in 126th place. However, of the D riders, I'm sure you all know where we come, so I will put the result there. Last time I checked on Zwift Power, I came second to O Guinquist, who you can just see there. So for a D riding second ever race, I think I'm very, very proud of myself. Tactically, let me know in the comments what you think I did. I think I did a lot. I'm just covering my unofficial barrel up again, not a 6-pack. Yeah, for everybody's sake there. That was hard. But yeah, if you do a ride, it's amazing when you dig to the depths how much is in the tank. Because if that was a group ride, if that was a pace ride and I lost the pace rider, I'd probably try a couple of times to get back on. And then after that, I'd just go, I'll just have a ride around the countryside. So it really is worth, yeah, get yourself racing. And hopefully I'll see you on the start line. Thanks very much.